Before I begin, let me at least tell you that I have a cold, so I'm going to sound kind of funny. Let's get right into this. Brand new customer has a 3-year-old Maltese that is scratching and itching constantly, along with the ear infections, tear stains, and bad breath. She had brought her Maltese to the veterinarian, but after 3 visits and a lot of money, there were still no answers other than drugs. This customer did not want to turn to drugs, so she decided to do her own research, switch the dog from Wellness Dry to Rawz Dry. That's RAWZ. Rawz is a fantastic food with plenty of meat in it. So that kind of confused me a little bit because the symptoms should have at least subsided 90%, but they had not. I decided to take the first steps, the easier ones. I take a black light and I shine it in the bag of food. What I'm looking for is a phosphorescent green glow. This is usually indicative of yeast or Candida albicans. When I picked up a handful of kibble and pulled it close to the black light, it was glowing green, but that did not make any sense because Rawz has no added yeast in the food. Once I took a look at the ingredient panel, I saw what could have been the culprit, so now I had to dig deeper. In this case, it was the olive oil that was glowing green. Olive oil is notorious for glowing green, even though it does not have any yeast in it. In a sterile environment, I crushed up the Rawz kibble and grew it in a petri dish. Now what you see here are the results from that. The purple, 99% of the time, here circled in green, is a good thing. That's typically probiotics or a good bacteria. However, here in the red circles, that is the white, which is Candida albicans. That is yeast in a hosted form. This still didn't make any sense to me how this ended up in there. I decided to dig even deeper and I took swabs from the customer's Maltese. I swabbed the ear, I swabbed the tear stains, and I swabbed between the toes. In all 3 cases, I was able to grow in my petri dish the same exact results, which is Candida albicans. This still did not make any sense to me whatsoever, so now I got to go in and make sure that it's Candida albicans with my microscope. After zooming way in, I was able to see that it was actually a downy fungus. All kinds of light bulbs went off, and I was ashamed of myself for not recognizing this right off the bat. A downy fungus is what grows on vegetation that is in moist areas with very low circulation of air or oxygen. Downy fungus is also known to not be very strong, so typically an immune system from a human or a dog can easily get rid of this fungus without any problems. However, with Maltese, Yorkies, Golden Doodles, or any dog that is considered quote-unquote hypoallergenic. So what do I mean by that? You usually get internalized allergies in the form of kidney infections, bladder issues, pancreatic issues, and so forth. That is usually the issue with dogs that are considered quote-unquote hypoallergenic. The issue with the peas is they're shipped in these giant bags. They're about 5 feet wide, 5 feet deep, and 5 feet long. And you get a whole lot of peas. However, there's no circulation, so the fungus does begin to grow on the pea pod. In cooking, however, 99% of that fungus is killed. There's a small, tiny percentage that still lives. And this is what ends up in a lot of dog foods, or at least dog and cat foods that have peas in the ingredient panel. She decided to switch her dog to raw. The raw diet was very easy for this dog since it was only 5.5 pounds and it would not be very expensive. 6 months after that, the dog is in perfect shape without any issues whatsoever. And I also noted too that the dog was far more energetic and less miserable. The dog was literally just bouncing around on the floor because obviously it was happy that it was no longer having to deal with all the itching and scratching. So there you go, another success story, and I'm so glad, and this is why I do this.